is similar to how I did the quarterfinals, where I'm filming this in two parts. So I'm filming the first part, talking about PSG Dortmund. The Real Madrid Bayern game has not happened yet. I'm filming this directly after the Dortmund PSG one, and then I'm going to do, after Real Madrid Bayern one, I'll do a review of that, and then I will talk a little bit about the final which we have. But I wanted to do that because I have a lot to say and I want to keep the games fresh in my memory and don't miss anything out from the games. So yeah, as of right now, I know one of the finalists, which is Dortmund, and can I say, I mean, this might come back to bite me, but I'm on a roll right now. I predicted it again. I said Dortmund would go through. I said it'll be a Dortmund Real Madrid final. I don't know if I'm right. I'll find out later in this video, I guess. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the semi-finals and our final, whoever it is out, Dortmund versus Real Madrid or Bayern. I want to hear your thoughts about it and your thoughts on the semis, because I'm sure this was a fascinating game and this is going to be fantastic as well. But anyway, let's talk about the PSG Dortmund game. So the first leg, of course, ended 2-1, not 2-1, 1-0 to Dortmund, and the second leg ended 1-0 as well. Dortmund went through after winning 2-0 on aggregate in the semi-final. And as I said, things are going well so far. I did predict Dortmund would actually beat PSG home and away. I said it'd be 2-1 both times. But Dortmund actually kept a clean sheet over 180 minutes versus PSG, which, first of all, fantastic by Dortmund. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and full credit for them. To go into the Champions League final is absolutely insane. Actually, you know what? Before I'm gonna leave Dortmund for a little bit because I want to just cook PSG here. I want to cook PSG, and with PSG, I've got the stats up as well. I think that'll be easier. There's a reason I predicted Dortmund to beat PSG over two legs. In both legs, I predicted Dortmund to beat them, and that's because I just don't read this PSG side. I don't think they're particularly good. I really don't. I looked at this PSG side and I have not really been impressed with them in the Champions League this season. I think they're a decent team who are kind of in a transitional phase in terms of they've got a lot of young players who could come good, but right now are not good enough. And I think they've got a good coach, but I think this team is not good enough to win a Champions League right now. They have a superstar. Put it this way, if you took Mbappe out of this side and you look at this team on paper, just erase Mbappe, this is a bang average side. In terms of Champions League, competing for Champions League, this is a bang average quarter-final max side. And this year, they've shown it in the Champions League. They were drawn in the group of death, and they needed Mbappe to bail them out in a lot of the games, and they only just got through that group. Mainly because Newcastle messed up, actually. And then, round of 16, Real Sociedad, they got past them, but that was again because Mbappe just completely destroyed Sociedad. Then quarter-final, Barcelona. Let's be real, Barcelona beat them in the first leg, and in the second leg were winning again until Araujo got the red card, and then suddenly PSG started playing again. If that red card doesn't happen, there's no way PSG go through to the semis. So going into this, I knew, PSG are not a fantastic side. And I think we've seen it. We've seen their limitations in the course of these two legs, because with Mbappe, as I said, you take Mbappe out of that side, that PSG side is quite average. And we saw it because look at all the attempts they had, 31 attempts, 67% possession, over 180 minutes. Over 180 minutes they didn't score a goal, and that's because pretty much over 180 minutes Kylian Mbappe was nullified. So who stepped up? Nobody stepped up. And more specifically, a lot of them were really bad, such as Gonzalo Ramos in the second leg was absolutely abysmal. I mean, besides that World Cup hat-trick, has he really done much? He had a good year last year, he did. But big moment here, he had like 3 good chances, but absolutely fluffed them. Absolutely fluffed them. Ousmane Dembele, oh my word, this guy put in a disaster class, absolute disaster class. In this second leg particular, so poor, so bad, like really, really bad. Sai Emery, I'm gonna allow him, but he had the biggest chance for PSG and he should have scored. You cannot be missing that. I don't care if you're 17 or 18, you can't be missing that. But because he is young, I'm not gonna absolutely rip into him. Fabian, I mean, in the first leg, he had fantastic chances. The second leg was pretty anonymous. Hakimi over the course of the 2 legs, really, really bad. I was really disappointed with Hakimi. I kind of think he's been hit with a PSG syndrome now, if you like, where players, because they've been playing at PSG in Ligue 1, in dominating the league for so long, when it comes to these Champions League moments, they sort of regress as a player. I think at PSG, we see it with certain players such as Marquinhos, who I will get into. And at one point, Hakimi was considered the best right back in the world by many. But I think over the course of these 2 legs, he was rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Didn't offer anything going forward, and Karim Adeyemi going forward as well. In both legs, Hakimi looked dodgy. And then Marquinhos. See, this is what I'm talking about, PSG syndrome, where this guy, he's been at PSG for so long. Honestly, I think he needs to go. He's captain. I know he is. I know he's captain, but I think his time at PSG, if I was him, I would leave. Because every single year, this guy will make a big error in a Champions League game without fail. He will do it. And he did it again. Semi-final for the goal. Now, I mean, there was numerous things wrong with the goal, but the corner comes from Marquinhos. Sloppy, stupid back pass, kicks it out of play, corner kick, they score from the corner. Now the marking from the corner was absolutely horrific, absolutely horrific, to allow Mats Hummels, one of the tallest players in the Dortmund side, an absolute free header from very close. That's criminal. But it would all be stopped if Marquinhos had his head switched on and doesn't play that back pass out of play. And yeah, like I said, if I'm Marquinhos, I know he's not gonna, but for me, I'm like, okay, I've experienced so many years of pain here. I keep messing up in these big moments. I can't take it anymore. I'm not gonna win a Champions League here. Let me go somewhere else. I need to sort myself out, because let's be real, PSG are not winning a Champions League anytime soon. They're not. They're not. We know this. PSG are not a Champions League winning club. They pull it time and time again. This was perhaps one of their best opportunities in years, coming up against a Dortmund side who, they're like 4th or 5th in Bundesliga. They're not particularly like a Real Madrid or anything, where they're really, really good side. The semi-final, you've got the easier semi-final and you've messed it up. You couldn't score a goal over them over 180 minutes. That's mental. The only player who needs a big shout is Vitinha. What a baller. What a baller this guy is. Both legs, absolutely fantastic. Everything PSG was doing in terms of creating chances, particularly in this second leg, was coming through this man, Vitinha. So he deserves massive props, and I felt really, really bad for him, because he literally couldn't do any more. As it says here, in terms of this game, they did hit the woodwork 4 times. PSG were kind of unlucky in terms of their finishing. They were. And, in the first leg as well, they hit the woodwork quite a few times. But what I will say is, that can be a bit misleading, seeing that. Because, and again, look at the stats, right? 31 attempts, you're thinking, oh wow, PSG peppered them and they were just unlucky. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because the thing is, PSG, I say for about the last 10 minutes, yeah, they peppered Dortmund, and that was actually where most of their best chances came. That's when they hit the woodwork quite a few times. Mendes hit it, Vitinha hit it, Mbappe hit it, and it was all with him around that last 10 minutes. But before that, particularly the first half they had literally zero opportunities. Dortmund were cruising, and before that, last 10 minutes, PSG had a couple chances. As I said, Sarri Emery probably should have scored, but it wasn't like PSG were hammering Dortmund, creating amazing one-on-one chances like that. They really did lack creativity. The only time they did anything was if Vitinha was going to cut through an amazing ball. Like, they really struggled with just pass, no sort of intensity, penetration from them, which is maybe something you can label at Enrique for, but I don't think you can blame too much on Enrique here, because I just think the players at his disposal are not good enough to break down Dortmund. Because if Mbappe is not doing it, as I said before, nobody's doing it in this PSG side. And yeah, they lack real creativity, and they've gone out on a whimper. They've gone out on a real whimper. But I do not want to focus this all on PSG, because now it's time we talk about them. These guys, Dortmund, who have made it to the Champions League final for the first time since, 2013, which was at Wembley. They are returning to Wembley. Wow, what a story for Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, what a story. There's always that one team in the Champions League who goes far, but Dortmund, I don't think many people expected them to be, especially when you consider how bad of a season they started off with. There was actually talk about this man, Edin Terzic, potentially being sacked quite early on in the season. I remember that, and being replaced, I think, of looking for replacements. But the way he's turned around this side, particularly in the Champions League, and that it proves that you can have a bad season, but all it takes is a good few games in the Champions League to get on a run, get that team spirit going, and you can make it to a final. And I think a lot of teams will be looking at Dortmund now, thinking, if these guys can make a final, we can, and they'll give a lot of teams belief, because fantastic by Dortmund, and it's not like they were lucky. It's not like they were lucky, because obviously I said that one side of it, it's embarrassing for PSG to lose both legs and to not score a single goal over 180 minutes. But on the flip side, that is incredible from Dortmund. 180 minutes versus PSG, Kylian Mbappe, and not to concede a single goal in a Champions League semi-final. Like, what? That is insane. And this defence, actually, I'm not even gonna single out anybody, particularly in this second leg. I don't think there was anyone on this pitch who was like, wow. I think every single player on that Dortmund team was a minimum 9 out of 10. And that just shows how far team spirit can get you. That is literally every single one of them was dying, absolutely dying for the badge, dying for every ball, running to every ball, the interceptions, the blocks, the amount of times like PSG would cut the ball back and then there'll be someone there, a yellow shirt, to just hack it away. There'll be someone on the line, there'll be someone, even when they got breached, Koba would be there to save it. For wingers, Sancho and Adeyemi were running back the whole time. Fulkrug running, pressing, holding up the ball when he needed to. It was just absolutely superb. There was not a single person on that Dortmund pitch who was bad. Everyone worked their socks off. Marco Reus comes off the bench, again works his socks off. It was just superb from Dortmund. And of course this guy, Mats Hummels. Mats, with the goal. And what a story for him, because must say, Hummels, the renaissance of Hummels needs to be talked about. I think it's been underrated. It's been massively underrated. Hummels, I made a video like when the group stages of the Champions League were ended. I put him in my team for group stage. He was superb in the group stages, and he has again been superb in the knockout stages in every single round. First leg he was man of the match against PSG. He's man of the match again in the second leg, and how old is he? Like 33, 34. You know, when he left to go back to Dortmund, a lot of people are like, okay, you know, he's kind of done in his career. He's probably not going to win anything, especially after last season. But for him, at his age, you know, he's already won a Champions League, I believe. But to now do it as one of the main guys, the leaders of this side, and to score the goal that sends your side to the Champions League final. What a story by Hummels. Yeah, he's the renaissance, one last dance, if you like, for Hummels. What a story. What a story for him. And yeah, I mean, Dortmund fully deserve it. Fantastic defending, fantastic going forward. Players like Adeyemi, Sancho were fantastic. You know, when Dortmund had the ball, they were not scared to run at Paris. And I thought Dortmund, for me, this Dortmund side is different. It is different in terms of mentality wise. The one thing you would always criticise Dortmund for over the years was mentality. You know, they've always had fantastic players, they've always had fantastic teams, the likes of Haaland, the likes of Bellingham, you know, they've always produced fantastic players, but in recent years particularly, they've never really been able to get over the line. But what's different is the mentality in this side. You could see in previous years, you know, last season, for example, Dortmund bottled the title race, right, on the final day. But I think that has actually helped a lot of these players because the mentality is so different. To go to the Parc des Princes, the first like 15 minutes or so, PSG were putting on a decent amount of pressure on Dortmund. And I think in previous years, Dortmund would crumble under that. You know, 15 minutes in, got a bit of pressure. Usually I was expecting Dortmund to actually be a bit nervy, you know, sloppy passes early on. You're one game away from a semi-final, away from home, big crowd. But no, they were calm, they were composed, they settled in nicely. First 15 minutes felt like, okay, you know, well, PSG will come at us a bit, but we'll get the ball, we'll pop the ball around and we'll be calm with it. They were very, very smart, concentrated throughout the whole game, the entire game, no errors, no silly errors again. Previous years, Dortmund, I was expecting like, you know, 80th minute or something, you know, when PSG were really ramping up the pressure, Dortmund to crumble, a little error at the back or something, lapse of concentration, but no. This Dortmund side is different mentality-wise. Terzic just done really, really well, and that's why they're in the final. That's why they're in the final. I don't even think this is a good Dortmund side in terms of on paper. Like, I think last season's team was probably even better than this team. But the difference is mentality. The difference is this Dortmund side has a mentality. They have concentration, they have spirit, they have belief, and they are willing to do anything to get to that final. And they had the quality as well. But yeah, Dortmund through, and I mean, what a story as well, by the way. Marco Reus has confirmed that he's going to be leaving Dortmund at the end of the season. His last game in a Dortmund shirt. You can't write this. It's going to be a Champions League final. Now, I mean, it would probably be the most Marco Reus thing to either one, get injured and not play the final, or two, lose the game. But still, you know, what a story that would be on his final game for Dortmund to win the Champions League. You know, I don't think he's even won a Bundesliga or a Champions League for Dortmund in his entire career at Dortmund, and to do it on his final day. Wow, that would be something special. Same for like a Seb Haller, you know, coming back from cancer to go ahead. Same year, he won the AFCON, scoring in the final to go and win a Champions League as well. Wow, what a story. As I said, Mats Hummels earlier, a renaissance comeback after many people thought it was kind of done, and go comes to Man United, walks into Carrington, the training ground. Ten Hag's there, he walks in with a Champions League winners medal. Imagine the face of Eric Ten Hag. Oh my god, that would be hilarious. But yeah, so many stories, so many narratives, and I just have to give a full congratulations to Dortmund. Massive props to them because they deserve it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the final. We'll preview the final in the next part once I figure out who is in that final. But yeah, that's the review for this. Let's review the next game. Oh, wow. Guys, you see that? Excellent. What can I say? I'm a genius. I am a genius. You know, people say sometimes to me that I don't have the best football takes. But who's laughing now? Look at this excellent score prediction. 2-1 Real Madrid. I predicted it 16 points. 2 times booster played. I predicted Real Madrid Dortmund final. Is there Real Madrid Dortmund final? Give me my props, people. okay. Now, in all seriousness, wow. We have a lot to discuss. About this Real Madrid Bayern game. We have our final confirmed Real Madrid versus Dortmund. We will talk a little bit about that in a second, but I'm gonna talk about the Real Madrid Bayern game first, and then we'll get into that. So, look, I think this was probably the most typical Real Madrid Champions League performance ever. Like, I think I've seen this Real Madrid result performance about 1 billion times in the Champions League, and look, again, you're gonna have to believe me here, but I'll swear on everything. As soon as Joselu scored the first goal in the 88th minute, I knew Madrid were going to score again in normal time. I knew it was going to be a Real Madrid Man City-esque, you know, what they did, like Rodrigo brace. I knew it. I 100% knew it was going to happen. Again, you know, you might not believe it. I swear. I knew it was happening because I've seen this script before. I've seen this script like 1,000 times by another better side, Madrid. Maybe not the best performance, maybe get outplayed a little bit. You're thinking, you know, they're not going to find a way. They don't even like create too many chances towards the end. And then boom, they get goals suddenly. The other teams start crumbling, they get panicky. Madrid have all this belief. Suddenly Madrid turn into the best team in the world and they score again. Like, it literally happens 1 billion times. So I was not surprised. I knew it was going to happen. But they just needed to score that first goal. And Joselu got it. I mean, this guy, Joselu, who would have thought? A couple years ago when he was playing for Stoke, when he was playing for Newcastle, and flopped for Newcastle, that this man would be scoring a brace against Bayern Munich in a Champions League semi-final at the Bernabeu to send Real Madrid to a Champions League final. Like, what? I'm gonna have to do a video on that. Like, what a story from Arsenal, and you can see the emotion from him at the end, crying because, you know, it's been difficult for him as well this season. A lot of people have sort of ridiculed him because he's missed a couple big chances, been in and out of the side, but he has done his part, and fantastic by him. Now, here's the thing though, as much as I knew the script, I had a feeling this was going to happen because of what happened with, this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but for me, there are other factors, of course, and there's a certain individual who we're going to get into who has a lot of blame, but for me, the man, it's going to sound really harsh, but hear me out, the man who cost Bayern a place in the Champions League final was actually this guy, Thomas Tuchel. Now hear me out, hear me out. The reason is I'm saying this from experience. As a Chelsea fan, I have seen Thomas Tuchel do this before at the Bernabeu. You cast your minds back. I think it was like 2 seasons ago. Chelsea went to the Bernabeu needing to win. We were winning with about like 10 minutes to go. What happened is Thomas Tuchel, incredible game plan, and then he sat back a little, made some defensive changes, and Madrid found a way. We sat back, let them onto us, and you know, that moment of magic came. They scored. Suddenly, they get this momentum by Madrid, and then, you know, we, with our defensive changes, we start to panic a little bit, and we couldn't respond, and then extra time they scored again. And he did the same thing again, but even to a worse extent in this game. When he brought on Kim Min-jae for who was it he came off again? Sane, yeah, and went to a back five. I was like, this is a bad idea. Not necessarily because of Kim. I mean, you know, he did have the best of games, but I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, because you are essentially just trying to shut up shop here, and I understand the thinking, but at the Bernabeu, you can't rest on your laurels like that. You can't invite the pressure because, well, this happens. And then he took off Musiala. I mean, Musiala kind of got injured anyway, so I don't have too much of a problem with that. But then he took off Harry Kane, and then I was like, you've made a big mistake. You have made a big, big mistake. Tuchel, you've taken off your entire front four that you started the game with. You're leaving. They ended that game with Thomas Müller and Choupo-Moting as the only, I guess, out-and-out attackers. Of course, Davis in there as well, but I was like, this is a bad move, because if Madrid score, you're screwed. You're not going to score. You're not going to score. And I said I knew Madrid were going to score again, but even if they didn't, Madrid were going to win the game. Bayern, the best they were going to get is penalties, because there was no chance Bayern were going to score, because he took off all their best attackers. And, you know, that's on Tuchel, because at the end of the day, you went there, you did a perfect game plan, you did fantastic, but then it was just that end moment which you messed up, because here's the thing actually, Bayern probably don't concede that goal, because Bayern had a couple decent opportunities on the break. We actually had like a 3v1, but it was like Müller in that position, he messed up on the counter. Harry Kane in that position, on a counter like that, we saw it all game, actually held up the ball very nice, and did fantastic. But Harry Kane in that position wouldn't do that. He would actually maybe even get you a goal in that position on that counter attack. And when it goes 1-1, again, Harry Kane, ping it into him, he'll try hold up that ball potentially. You'll have players like Musiala potentially who can hold on to the ball. Bayern kept giving the ball away, panicking on the ball, and then, you know, Madrid got the goal. So I thought, this man here, you know, Thomas Tuchel, incredible coach, perfect game plan, but it was just that final decision. I think he was a bit too defensive, bit too cautious, and you know, I thought he would have learned from what happened when he was at Chelsea, but I think just couldn't quite do it. But that being said, a lot of the blame goes on Manuel Neuer, because I mean, I think he said it here. Manu, who had been exceptional in saving us all night, made a mistake he wouldn't make in another 100 years. And that's really all I need to say, because he was right. He was actually exceptional. I was actually planning on coming here and saying, you know, Manuel Neuer, what a guy, rolling back the years. He was fantastic in this game, saving, stepped up, experienced leader, and then he went and did that. And I don't think I've ever seen Manuel Neuer make a big mistake like that on a big stage like that. Just so uncharacteristic on that first goal. And yeah, he's got a lot of blood in his hands, which is just, you know, unfortunate. Obviously, he's a fantastic legend of the game, but he messed up. He messed up big time for their captain to do that as well. I think the manner of that goal as well just sucked so much out of them. As I said, your leader, your experienced guy, your calm, composed guy makes a mistake like that. Suddenly, all of these players were just like lost their heads, and yeah, Madrid came fighting back and scored Joselu with the brace. At the actual game, I mean, I thought Vinicius Jr., this man here, incredible. First half was pretty good. Second half, absolutely cooked up his right hand side. They could not cope. Kimmich was getting torn inside out. Needed 2-3 guys to help him, and even then, couldn't really do it. Even for that goal, you know, Neuer should save it, but a chance from Vinny getting one-on-one, firing out a shot. He was terrific that game. Absolutely superb. Yeah, Madrid, I don't think it was a vintage Madrid performance. I think they, you know, Madrid, to be fair, had quite a few decent chances, especially in the first half. I thought they had the better chances, but, you know, they never had, like, they had a few, like I think Vinny had one. Rodrigo in the first half actually had one where he should have scored, but they never really had, like, a ton of, like, clear-cut opportunities, but I did well to defend them. But it's Madrid. This is what they do. This is what they've been doing all season. This is what they've been doing for years now, and they do it. I will say, this man, Alphonso Davies, I feel so bad. What a fantastic goal. Absolutely brilliant. And that came out of nowhere. You know, one-on-one versus someone like Rudiger, who's just been incredible this season. You're thinking, you know, Davies ain't going to do much. He's a left back, right? Cuts in on his right and then absolutely buries it on his weaker foot as well. Full credit to Davies. What a fantastic goal. That was unfortunate for him. That was not the winning goal. But yeah, to be honest, I don't even think there's like tons more I can really say about this game, because like I actually thought, you know, like Dyer, De Ligt, they were great, and the back, Pavlovic and Lima were pretty good as well. Sonny was pretty bad. Kane did decent to hold up the ball, but what I will say with him is there was a chance when it was 1-0. I think Musiala slips him in. It's a kind of tight angle on his left foot, but I've seen Harry Kane score from there multiple times, and he missed, he hit in the side netting, and I was like, I don't know, I think he's probably going to come back to bite him. I was like, for someone like Harry Kane, his level, I was expecting him to at least get it on target, and he didn't. But, you know, I can't really blame him too much. I can't really blame too much on Bayern, because it's just like, it's just Madrid, isn't it? It's just Madrid. Yeah, I thought it was a very evenly matched game. I thought it was going to end a draw, especially after that first half. It was very even, but Madrid found a way. Joselu, what a story. Unfortunate for Bayern, I wanted a De Clasica final. That would have been mental, but instead we get a Real Madrid Borussia Dortmund final, which is, can I preview it here? No, I can't, but at Wembley, Real Madrid Dortmund, they said something interesting. Apparently this is the first time Madrid are playing a final in England, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I think both teams are actually kind of even. I think both teams showed over the course of 2 legs that they have some flaws, but can, I guess, grind out results. I think both of the teams in both of their games were not necessarily the best side throughout the 180 minutes the whole time, but they found a way to get the job done and put in good performances. They had individuals who stepped up in key moments. So I'm really looking forward to this. Obviously Dortmund are probably heavy underdogs for this. Obviously Madrid are incredible and have the individuals, are probably the better side, and of course Madrid in Champions League finals, they don't really tend to lose them. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be a one-sided affair. I think Dortmund, they're going to be so up for it, and I think Dortmund can definitely cause Madrid problems. We've seen, you know, Madrid throughout, in fact, even from a round of 16, Madrid, where is it? The round of 16 against Leipzig, you know, Leipzig gave them a really tough time. Every single round, the teams have given up a really hard time. Obviously Man City did, and Bayern, as we know, necessarily blown any teams out of the park in the Champions League this season, but they've just found a way to win. Dortmund, similar thing, but I think that's going to give Dortmund a lot of confidence going into that final. And yeah, Jude Bellingham facing his former side, that's going to be something. Imagine he scores the winner, that would be pretty awkward. But yeah, it's almost a David versus Goliath in the final, which I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to give my proper preview or prediction yet. You have to wait for that, but we got Dortmund Madrid final. It's going to be a good one. I hope you guys did enjoy the semi-finals. Let me know your thoughts on the final. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in another